All right, folks, Station Captain here. We covered a lot tonight. Local risks like heat and monsoons, the importance of water, basic skills, highway headaches. As we wrap up, sitting here on this Friday in Glendale, I want to tackle something crucial, the mindset of preparedness. Because sometimes when I talk about these things, people tell me, Captain, thinking about all that just makes me anxious. Planning for bad stuff feels scary, like I'm inviting trouble. I hear that. But based on everything I've seen responding to emergencies for 30 years, I see it completely differently. And I want to share that perspective because I believe it's the key to making preparedness work for you instead of stressing you out. Myth-busting time. Preparedness isn't paranoia, it's control. Let's be honest. The stereotype of the prepper involves bunkers, mountains of ammo, and waiting for the end of the world. That image feeds the idea that preparedness is rooted in fear and paranoia. But that's not what we've been talking about tonight. Real-world preparedness, the kind that actually helps regular people in common emergencies, isn't about paranoia at all. It's about taking control of situations where it feels like control is lost. Think about it. What truly causes anxiety? Uncertainty? The fear of the unknown? Lying awake wondering, what would I do if the power was out for 3 days in August? Or how would we cope if that wash flooded and we couldn't get out? Ignoring these possibilities doesn't make the anxiety disappear. It just pushes it down, ready to erupt into full-blown panic if something actually happens. Because when disaster strikes, not having a plan, not having basic supplies, that is terrifying. That feeling of helplessness is overwhelming. Preparedness flips that script. By thinking through likely scenarios now, in the calm light of a normal day, and taking small practical steps, you replace that paralyzing unknown with knowns. Okay, if the power goes out, I know I have stored water. I know where the flashlights and batteries are. I know how to get news updates on my battery radio. That knowledge gives you a sense of agency. It gives you control over your immediate situation. It frees up your mind to think clearly and to make better decisions, rather than being swamped by panic. When I arrive on scene, I can often tell the difference. I see folks who are completely overwhelmed, frantic, because they have no resources and no plan. And I see folks who are clearly concerned, as they should be, but who are also calmer, more focused, maybe already taking appropriate actions because they had thought ahead and had some basic supplies. They feel less like victims of circumstance and more like active participants in their own safety. That's control. And this mindset, that preparedness equals control and reduces anxiety, applies everywhere, no matter what specific threats loom largest. Imagine living on the Gulf Coast facing hurricane warnings. The anxiety of potentially having to evacuate or ride out a major storm is immense. But what ramps up the panic? Not knowing your evacuation zone, not having a go bag packed, not having supplies if you stay. Taking the action of making a plan, packing that bag, boarding up windows, those steps provide tremendous psychological relief. It channels the nervous energy into productive action and gives you a measure of control over how you'll face the storm. Think about living in Tornado Alley. Hearing those sirens wail is heart-stopping. But if you've already designated your safe space, drilled getting there with your family, and have your emergency kit waiting in that spot, that routine, that plan, provides structure amidst the chaos. It allows you to act decisively instead of freezing in fear or wasting precious seconds wondering what to do. The preparations beforehand give you control during the crucial moments. Consider facing a northeast winter, knowing blizzards or ice storms could knock out power for days, leaving you without heat. Ignoring that possibility leads to intense anxiety when the storm hits. But having stored food, extra blankets, a safe way to stay warm, and water beforehand, that knowledge provides comfort and control. You know you can manage, which drastically reduces the fear of being cold and isolated. If you live in earthquake country on the West Coast, the vague fear of the big one can be paralyzing. But taking concrete steps, securing bookcases, creating an emergency kit, having an out-of-state contact, knowing how to shut off your gas, transforms that dread. Each action provides a small locus of control, making the potential event feel more manageable because you've actually actively prepared for aspects of it. And in wildfire zones, the uncertainty of evacuation orders creates stress. Having defensible space around your home, go bags ready by the door, important papers copied, and multiple escape routes mapped out before fire season even begins, that proactive stance gives you control. You're not waiting passively. You're ready to act safely and quickly if needed. See? Across all of these different scenarios, the principle holds true. Uncertainty breeds anxiety. Action builds control and confidence. Preparedness isn't about dwelling on doom. It's about taking practical steps to reduce your vulnerability and increase your resilience, which in turn lowers your anxiety about potential events. It's a process. You don't have to do everything at once. In fact, trying to do too much too fast can be overwhelming. The key is small, steady steps. Each step, no matter how minor, builds that sense of control. So, if any of this talk about preparedness has made you feel anxious tonight, I encourage you to reframe it. See it not as focusing on fear, but as focusing on empowerment. See it as taking charge of your own safety and well-being in a practical way. Let's end with a simple, concrete action. No need for fear, just a practical step towards control. Action. What's one small, non-scary prep step you can take this week? Maybe it's buying one extra pack of batteries next time you're out. Maybe it's checking that flashlight in your drawer to see if it actually works. Maybe it's putting a gallon of water and a granola bar in your car trunk. Maybe it's making a list of emergency contact numbers and putting it by your phone or saving it digitally. Maybe it's just taking 5 minutes to locate your water or gas shutoff valve. Choose one. Just one small thing. Do it this week. Taking that step isn't paranoid. It's responsible. It's practical. And it's the first step towards feeling more in control, less anxious, and better prepared for whatever might come your way. Stay safe. Stay empowered. Be careful out there.